They said it was dead. They said it was outdated. But here in 2025, the Cat 3406 is roaring back to life. And not just in the scrapyards, but on the roads, in the shops, and under hoods all across the US. If you're a dieselhead fleet owner or just someone who respects pure mechanical muscle, this is the video you didn't know you were waiting for. Because today, we're pulling back the curtain on the Cat 3406 rebuild phenomenon in 2025, and trust me, it's more than just nostalgia. Also, quick question. When was the last time your truck engine got called a cult classic? Yeah, didn't think so. Let's start with the elephant in the room, or should I say the bulldozer. The Cat 3406 first hit the scene decades ago. It was built like a tank, easy to work on, and capable of taking a beating mile after mile. And while Caterpillar officially pulled the plug on on-highway engines years ago, the 3406 never left the game. It just went underground, quiet, legendary. But now in 2025, something's changed, and it has everything to do with emissions laws, rebuild economics, and a certain loophole we'll talk about shortly. So why are we talking about a pre-EGR mechanical beast in an age of smart diagnostics and electric drivetrains? Simple. Because the Cat 3406 represents something most modern engines don't: freedom, control, and raw power without a software nanny looking over your shoulder. But before you throw your laptop at your modern engine ECM, let's talk numbers, reality, and why fleets and independents alike are betting big on the 3406 rebuild path in 2025. So here's the kicker. In 2025, the cost to rebuild a Cat 3406 averages between $18,000 and $28,000, depending on condition, labor, and whether you're going full OEM or aftermarket. That's still cheaper than buying a new EPA-compliant engine and dealing with DF nightmares and DPF regions every 500 miles. Let's be honest. If you've ever had a DF sensor freeze up in the middle of nowhere, you've probably fantasized about smashing your dashboard with a Torque wrench. And that's where the Cat 3406 rebuild steps in. These engines don't just come back, they come back better. With modern rebuild kits, improved machining tolerances, and custom tuning, people are pulling 600 plus horsepower out of these monsters and running clean-ish. But what about emissions compliance? Isn't rebuilding a 3406 a legal minefield in 2025? Not exactly. And this is where things get interesting. In certain states, Texas, Florida, parts of the Midwest, you can still register and operate a pre-emissions engine if it's rebuilt under what's known as the legacy exemption or agricultural designation. That means with the right paperwork, you can legally run a 3406 without tripping over federal red tape. Plus, let's not forget private use, show trucks, and limited distance haulers. The gray area is real and growing. Now, I'm not saying you should skirt emissions laws, but if you were going to, the Cat 3406 is the engine people choose. Coincidence? We're seeing more shops specializing in 3406 rebuilds, more aftermarket support than ever before, and a booming market for used 3406 blocks. In fact, certain low-hour engines are going for $12,000 plus just for the core. That's not depreciation, that's appreciation. And with supply chain delays still plaguing newer models, downtime has become a killer. A rebuilt 3406 can be dropped in, fired up, and back on the road in less time than it takes to book a dealer service appointment. It's not just a rebuild, it's a rebellion. A way to say, I'm not going to let complexity kill my uptime. But here's the big question. How long will this window last? With the EPA tightening oversight and parts availability fluctuating, we may be looking at the last golden era of the Cat 3406. Will it survive the next regulatory wave, or will it finally be buried for good? In our next video, we're diving into the top 5 upgrades for a 2025 Cat 3406 rebuild, including one mod that boosts fuel efficiency by over 10% and barely anyone's talking about. So if you've ever loved an engine that refused to die, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below with your favorite Cat moment, and share this with a fellow gearhead who's tired of sensor errors and limp mode hell.